This guide shows you how to create an encrypted, password protected area on your PC to put all of your personal files that you want to keep away from prying eyes. So first of all, we need to open our browser. Now in this example, I'm going to use Microsoft Edge. So let's open up Edge. And then once Edge is open, click in the address bar at the top of the screen. If there's anything in there, just delete it out. And then just type VeraCrypt.fr, all in lowercase and no spaces. Then press enter or return on your keyboard. You will then see this page appear. Move your mouse over downloads, left click once. Now you've got a few options here for downloading. So we've got the installer for Windows 8 or later, or if you're running Windows XP, Vista or 7, you'll need to download this one. So I'm running Windows 10, so let's just left click on VeraCrypt Setup 124 Update 7 just there, alongside Windows 8 or later. Like I say, if you are running an earlier version of Windows, either XP, Vista or 7, which you shouldn't be now, but if you still are, then you click on this one just here. Wait for that to download. This could take a little bit of time. Once it's downloaded, in the case of Chrome and Edge, these figures will disappear. There we go, once it's downloaded, and we just click on the file just there. If you've downloaded in another browser, then close down the browser, go to the yellow folder at the bottom of the screen or the folder there on the start menu, okay, and then click on the downloads folder just there and then find VeraCrypt Setup in there. Like I say, the figures there are the version numbers and that may have changed by the time you're watching this video. So once you've found it, double left click on there and hopefully we should all be at the same place now. So it says, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Well, if all of this matches here, so it says VeraCrypt Setup and verified publisher is IDRIXSARL and the file origin is hard drive on this computer, then move your mouse over yes and left click once. Then it asks you to select your language, so select your language and move your mouse over OK, left click once. Have a look through the terms and conditions there, and then if you agree, click the box just to the left of I accept the license terms to put a tick in it, and then click next. And then what we do is we then make sure that install has got a little black dot beside it, and then click next. And then we click on install. So this is now installing, might take a few moments, and there you go, it says VeraCrypt has been successfully installed. So we click on OK, and if you do find this product useful, then please consider making a donation, as it is a worthwhile cause. It's completely free, this software, so like I say, if you do find it useful, please consider making a donation. Move your mouse over finish and left click once. So it says here, if you've never used VeraCrypt before, we recommend that you read the chapter beginners tutorial in the VeraCrypt user guide. Do you want to view the tutorial? I'm not going to at the moment, but that's up to you. So I'm going to move my mouse over no and click no. Okay, so if you've still got the downloads window open, then what we can do is we can actually remove the install file for VeraCrypt. We don't need that anymore. So move your mouse over VeraCrypt Setup if you can see it on the screen. Right click, that's the button on the right hand side of the mouse, and then move your mouse down to delete, and then right or left click delete, and then move your mouse over yes and left click yes, and that will delete the original installation file, which we just, like I say, we don't need anymore. So if you've still got this download window open, move your mouse over the cross in the top right hand corner, close it down, and then we need to open VeraCrypt. So hopefully on your desktop you should have VeraCrypt just there. If you can't see it on your desktop, click the start button and on your keyboard type VeraCrypt, and then hopefully after a few seconds under best match it should say VeraCrypt app. So left click that. And now what we want to do is we want to create a volume. So move your mouse over create volume, left click once, and we're going to create an encrypted file container. That means it's going to leave our disk in the main unencrypted, but it's going to allow us to create like a file, which is really, it's a drive on the computer for all intents and purposes, to store all our personal files and folders in that we want to keep away from prying eyes. So make sure create an encrypted file container is selected. Click next, and we're just going to use the standard VeraCrypt volume. So again, make sure there's a little black dot next to standard VeraCrypt volume, and then left click next. And then it's asking us to select a location to save our file. Now this is the file that's going to basically contain all of our secret files. So left click select file. Okay, and then now we need to choose a place to save it. So I'm going to select documents as my place to save this file. So left click documents. Okay, and then I'm going to give it a name. So you have to give it a name. If you want, you can make it a completely random name and nothing to do with what you're saving in there, or nothing to do with VeraCrypt, to keep it even more secure. So I'm just going to call it, what am I going to call it? I'm just going to call it my stuff. Okay, so I've just called it my stuff. So I click save, and then I click next. And then it's asking us about the encryption algorithm that we want to use. Leave that as AES and leave the hash algorithm as SHA-512. Click the next button, and now it's asking us how big or how small do we want to make the area to store our files. So you need to know roughly how much space you're going to need on there. If you're only saving sort of Word and Excel documents in there, you probably don't need any more than 100 megabytes. If you're going to throw some pictures in there, a few pictures, perhaps a gigabyte, maybe more. It's really hard to say, but generally I'm going to go with the rule of thumb. If you're saving, say, I don't know, less than 100 pictures in there, then you probably only need about 500 megabytes. If it's more than 100 and below 200, then perhaps a gigabyte. And like I say, if it's only going to be Word and Excel files, perhaps we should say 500 megabytes. So let's just do that. So I'm only going to save a few like documents in there. So okay, so I'm going to say 500 megabytes is going to be the size of the volume that we're going to create to store our stuff into. So move your mouse over next, left click once, and now it's asking us to type in a password. So I'm just going to type a password, and then I'm going to confirm it. Okay, and click next. Okay, so it's giving me a warning here. It's saying, warning, short passwords are easy to crack using brute force techniques. We recommend choosing a password consisting of 20 or more characters. Are you sure you want to use a short password? Well, it's up to you. If you feel that password is safe and no one's going to guess it, or it's a brute force machine isn't going to run through it and try and crack the code, then say yes. But if you're unsure, then try and make the password a little bit longer. Perhaps use upper and lowercase letters, perhaps use special characters such as a $sign or an @ sign or an exclamation mark, something like that. Also use numbers in the password if you can. Try and make it as complex as possible. Okay, so I'm quite happy with the short password I've put in there. So I'm going to move my mouse over yes and left click once, and now what it's doing is it's creating a cryptographic encryption key. So what you've got to do is you've got to move your mouse around randomly over this box, anywhere in this box, and as you can see, as I'm moving my mouse, the bar at the bottom of the screen is going up. As soon as I stop moving the mouse, the bar stops. So just keep moving it randomly over the box and keep moving it just until that bar gets to the end of the line there. So as you can see, it's gone green now, which means we can stop now if we want, but just keep moving it. And I'm just going to move it a little bit more. I know it's gone right to the end, but just for the sheer hell of it, let's just do a few more random movements. Okay, so next thing we need to do is move our mouse over format and left click once. And here we go. It's actually now creating the file for us to store our documents in. And as you can see, that went pretty quick for me because I've only created a small drive. So I'm going to click OK there. So let's just left click OK. And there you go. So it says the volume was created, the VeraCrypt volume has been created and is ready for use. If you wish to create another VeraCrypt volume, click next, otherwise click exit. Well, I'm done, so I'm going to click exit. Okay, so what we need to do now is whenever we want to access this hidden area of the system, we need to go into VeraCrypt and select the file. So let's just do that. So I've just come out of it. We're going to go back in from the beginning. So I'm going to double click VeraCrypt there. It's going to load. And what we need to do is we need to click select file. Now you've got to remember where you put that file and what you called it. Now I put it in documents. Okay, and I called the file my stuff. So I just double click that. And then what we want to do is we want to select a drive letter to allocate to this file my stuff, which means that on screen we will see a drive that we can save, open our files and do stuff to that's contained in this my stuff file. So let's select the G drive. I mean, any drive, doesn't really matter what ones you select. I would avoid A and B because they're usually reserved for floppy disks, and avoid C if you've got a C drive listed up there, which you probably won't have. So I'm going to select G drive. Okay, select G, and I'm going to then click mount. So I double click on G or left click once on G and then select mount, and then it'll ask us for the password. So I'm going to type in the password I typed in earlier, the one I selected earlier, and then I'm going to click OK. And there you go. So now that it's actually put on there, this beside G, it means it's now actually on the drive. And if I exit out of this and click on the little yellow folder down here, or if you haven't got a little yellow folder down there, click on the folder in the start menu. And if I go down under this PC, you will see I've got a G drive, and this G drive is now empty. So I can now start saving things in G drive if I want to. I can put some documents in there that I've made already. So there you go. I'm going to move my important drive, so I'm just going to drag it into G drive. Okay, and there you go, my important file is now in there. In actual fact, it still remains on the documents folder because I didn't delete it, so I'll just delete it from the documents folder. So right click and delete, and then I'm just going to empty my recycle bin to make sure the file is definitely gone. And as you can see in the documents folder, I've got this file here called my stuff. Now whatever you called the file and wherever you put it, do not delete it. If you delete that file, then you'll lose all of the stuff that you've saved on the encrypted file. This file here contains everything. So I'm just going to go back to the encrypted file there, which is local disk G for me. And there you go, there's my important file in there. And I can do anything in here. I can create folders if I want to, and I can save stuff in folders. I can go into Word and save to the G drive. So here we go, I'm in Word and I'm just going to type a document. I'm not going to put anything in there apart from my private document. I click on File, click on Save As just there, and it's going to ask me where I want to save it. Well, like I say, if I want to save it in the private encrypted file, then I go to my local disk G, which is what I selected as the drive for the private file, and there you go, I'll just call it private document, click save and come out of Word, and there we go, there's my private document. So the next thing is, how do we relock this file so no one can then see it? So let's just close down this window here, and let's just go back into VeraCrypt. Okay, I click on G drive there, and let's just click dismount. Okay, and there we go. If I exit out of this now and click on the yellow folder at the bottom of the screen or the documents folder in there, as you will see, there is now no G drive in there. In the recent files, I've still got stuff showing there, but if I double click on private document, it won't be able to open because it can't see it. It's gone encrypted. So if I want to reopen it again, like I say, I just go into VeraCrypt. Okay, I have to click select file, find the file that I created earlier, so mine's my stuff, double click on the drive I want to select, or left click once on it and then click mount, and then type in my password that I chose, and it's now preparing it. There you go, it's prepared. I can exit out of VeraCrypt, and then I can click on the yellow folder down there, and like I say, there we are. There's my local disk G. I can also delete files in there. I can update files in there if I want to. It's very, very versatile. So there you go. I hope this guide helps, and I hope you manage to create your own little personal encrypted private area on your hard drive. Thanks for watching. You can follow me on Twitter at CWTech. That's at CWTech on Twitter. And don't forget to check out my other videos in my YouTube channel. Just Google Chris Waite YouTube. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for your support.